So, okay, everyone. Hey, Echo. Hey, Remy. How are you doing?
Hello, Anton. I'm
Hello.
fine. What about you?
All good. Thanks for asking.
We
So,
are
I
we are absolutely fantastically feeling,
cool.
despite everything, ongoing stuff, and the third or fourth. I have lost the count of the pandemic, but we are extremely positive. I think we believe into bright future. So, a bunch of positive people
Yeah.
have collected and gathered together.
Mm. So I see we have almost 30 people enjoyed us. So maybe we should wait for a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
Alrighty,
sure, it's
everyone.
fine.
Mhm.
No other choice. Since you will be keeping this intrigue for a while, and before we started the webinar, we've been trying to get some more information about what kind of nice and yummy features Affise has prepared, and we have heard that there are some, and you are just keeping this intrigue so far. We'd like to know a little bit more. If maybe you'll be kind enough today to share some, we all will be happy. I'm pretty sure. If not, we will wait anyway. So.
So to be honest with you, we are now finalizing our product roadmap for the last quarter of the year. So we are prioritizing the task we are going to take into work right now. So, but I can tell you that you'll see some significant changes. So we are preparing the bulk actions. We are preparing the tracking domain self-parking both for admin and affiliates. We are working on advertiser registration. We are working on additional billing features, so event reports, which is important for gaming industry. And for now, I think that will be enough to tell you. So all the news you'll be able to see on our site. It also was updated several weeks ago, so you can visit it and check. Plus, subscribe to our email, so you'll always be up to date and know everything about the upcoming features we are going to release.
Yes,
Wonderful.
last 2 3 weeks there was much update about caps for advertiser and publishers.
Hmm.
Last month was about hourly or weekly. Yeah, we
Have
saw
you?
and API.
Mhm.
There was
Have you
many
read?
change in API integration.
Mhm.
Cool.
We are trying to keep a trace because, before we get accustomed and adjust it, and from our end, we are trying to test it properly to understand all the pros and cons. There is something new is coming up. So, but
Mhm.
I think that the speed of updates is pretty good and stable. So, which is good if you continue like that. So, I think that uh, even such extremely critical minded people towards of course Affise, I mean, will be more than happy. So you need such bad people as we are, so who criticizes everything.
For sure, no doubt. So maybe we should start. What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah, we may, and I think people will join us. We'll be able to, if I'm not mistaken, there is going to be a replay which would be sent to all the participants who, by whatever reasons, were not able to join. So
Yeah,
forward
the whole.
link later. All
Mhm.
right.
It will be recorded and sent. So, if you don't mind, let's start. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, hey everyone again. Welcome to today's Affise session. Thank you for taking time out today and being here today with us. So, we are extremely glad to see you all on the stream with our guests from AppricotAds. My name is Anton. I'm customer success manager at Affise. And we have today's speakers, Echo and Remy. Echo is Chief Executive Officer at AppricotAds. Please welcome him. And Remy is the head of account management. So AppricotAds is the well-known performance marketing agency that delivers excellent services for both sides, advertisers and affiliates. So they encompasses many verticals, with the top ones being mobile apps, gaming, games, and e-commerce. So they'll try to share their expertise, some insights, and cover the following topics during the today's session. So the today's agenda is we'll try to talk about the challenges we face in the mobile app marketing nowadays, the lockdown effect, how how people shift through different verticals, Then we'll talk about iOS 14 privacy updates and SCAT network, how to apply and implement it, what is the possible bypass options. So Echo and Remy will tell about pros and cons of using SCAT network. And then we'll try to prepare the forecast for the upcoming year. So some tendencies or what you should focus on, maybe some profitable verticals that will be the most efficient next year. And after this webinar, we'll have a Q&A session. So please don't hesitate to write your questions to the chat. And after the webinar, we'll try to answer all of them. So guys, welcome you. Maybe let's start because it's your show today.
Yeah, it's kind of a joint one. Thank you so much, Anton, for the nice introduction. We are extremely delighted to be a part of the webinar, to try to shed our feedback, our subjective feedback, our expertise, which we have passed through this whole period of time, pre-COVID and post-COVID period. Me and my colleague Rami and my good friend, who will be sharing some more technical details also. He will be trying to give some more professional input related to the experience managing the campaigns itself, including the challenges. We'll try to, if it's going to contribute to the community and the industry itself, we'll be more than delighted. So our experience should be helpful, I think, to other players on the market. So by doing so, I think we are kind of consolidating to fight whatever challenges we are, to take these challenges and to fight the fraudulent activity that is coming up from certain sources. So yeah, we are absolutely ready. So my colleague will confirm.
Yeah, we have some experience in our industry. We would like to share it with everyone. I hope it will help. In AppricotAds, all our team, we are not so old company. We started something almost 2 years and a half. But all of us have much experience for over than 7 or 8 years. I remember when I joined in this industry, it was 2014. And when I checked the change in this market till now, almost every 2 years, everything changing. What we used to do before, it's not the same what we're doing now. What we will do after 1 or 2 years, for sure it will be something different. And this year we have many change. We can see it according to COVID situation, according to iOS updates, according to most of flooding traffic, which we never had it before. Okay, so I think it's correct time to discuss the change what's going on in our market now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, so all of us faced the COVID times nowadays. So, and it caused lockdown effect. So how this lockdown affected the industry? Maybe you can tell some insights, maybe you have some stats or expertise or experience within it. Can you please share it, share your thoughts and how does it?
Definitely, Anton. It's something which I think touched everybody, all kinds of industries and all kinds of domains of businesses. Traditionally, it and directly it affected some outdoor activity type of businesses, like being, of course, which was obvious, restaurants, hotels, and some gyms or whatever. And ever after, of course, it reached the industry too, unfortunately. Not to talk about the over 4-point-something million people that have been died. And but the industry of ours didn't directly suffer. I would say why. Now, maybe some people would like to criticize me and disagree with this statement, but actually we were more lucky to come out of this COVID pandemic by having some alternatives, having some different options to switch onto. For example, we can talk about those kind of apps. And since my colleague has mentioned, we have been from the very beginning in the mobile apps promotion. We been having different verticals throughout different geos, multiple campaigns, and we're pretty sure that everybody or the most of the marketers have been in the same industry and the same verticals as well, and they can share somehow the feedback that we've got. So coming back to the question, we had the shift from certain type of verticals, such as, for example, booking, such as related to traveling, towards and in favor of such apps which were causing people to stay home. For example, we can see the increase of shopping, e-commerce. We can see the boom in the gaming industry here, because more and more people started to download and use actively. The retention rate, of course, of these apps was increased as well by at least maybe 30-40%, if not more. So which is again, it's very kind of a natural to have such a shift from certain apps to in favor of others. So this is why I have probably the right, or I have the argument in favor of my statement that we didn't suffer that much, because we kind of carried out, or we passed through the certain verticals in favor of others, which were not that much probably popular. They were in the top list, but they were not that much booming as they started to be after the lockdown.
I fully agree with Eka about everything he said, but I need to add something. This Corona situation, it's new for every one of us. At the beginning, we didn't expect what's going on with market. At first 2 3 months, shopping ads was doing good, because mostly people were sitting at home and they feel bored somehow, so they're checking what they can to buy or how to spend money. But after second, third months, people understood about the situation. Maybe it will take longer, and they have to be careful how they're spending money. So there was some change at this time in market. Most of people at home, they start looking to find a way to earn money. So they start trying, and at this time, of course, they have more free time. So they start trying to spend some time and some money in trading apps, economy apps, this kind of situation, apps. So after it's become, we start seeing more traffic for them. We start converting much better. And of course, the best converting, like how Echo shared, it was gaming and food and drink. We didn't expect it at the beginning, but after it, people start order and make delivery for food and drink, and these apps start working so nice.
I believe it's not related only to the people becoming more and more lazy due to some automations. By the way, we forgot to ask you a question, Anton, just to jump over a little bit. So I can see that recently you started to strive towards more automation of your platform. So it's good, but don't make people lazy.
Yes, of course. But you know that the tendency of moving to automation, so to stop working manually, to save the time for affiliate managers, so we just have to add some additional automation tool that helps our customers. So actually, we've just talked about the lockdown effect, the shift to certain verticals like e-commerce, delivery apps, shopping apps, and so on. And from my side, working closely with customers, I also often hear some complaints that it's getting harder and harder to meet more complicated advertisers' KPIs right now. So we understand that these KPIs are involved to make fraudsters' lives more complicated. But I need to hear your personal opinion. How do you think? Do they really help? Or they just prevent earning for the trusted sources? And on another hand, fraudsters will anyway find the way to deceive the agency and somehow to perform the fake KPIs.
I think, the KPIs itself, it's kind of a very fragile and a very kind of, I would say, well-discussed topic. And the KPIs, I would differentiate between the real ones and artificially created KPIs. For example, from the first point of view, when we talk about having any campaigns, predominantly these are the CPI campaigns, we would talk about the KPI, because many people mix it up with, let's say, CPA or CPE or other flows, where we can speak simply about some other options and not the KPI itself. It's not the direct meaning of having a CPE campaign with KPI. So we talk about the flow, we talk about the lead, we talk about the event. So whichever it is, an unpayable event, right? However, some, I would say, indecently playing industry industry players itself, sorry, they try to add some artificial KPIs which does not exist with the original source. It means that they are trying to find an excuse, an argument, primarily knowing that there is no such a KPI achievable. I call it an unrealistic one, but that's kind of targeting to those newbies who probably can simply pick it up in a naive way and try to run for like a month or two for free, providing the maybe leads, but getting not paid after all. So this is why we simply try to look into the matter deeper and to understand how logically a person can be able to achieve that KPI itself, because we are all human beings and we all know how we would react to certain app, we would reach that level or we would meet that KPI or not, just traditionally, because there is no mechanism, I think, no tool which can detect it, or unfortunately, but that all depends on the experience, I think so. And Rami has had a lot since he was directly managing these campaigns. He had a lot of such cases where we had to reject any CPI campaigns which were proposed by even some reputable companies. But again, that's the matter of concern, and that's the matter of being well aware of what you are going to promote.
Yes, most of app owner and developers, they're looking to earn from their apps. Okay, if someone went and asked only for CPI, they will give some KPI which reaches their need. But in the end, from our end, we have to filter and understand if this is logic KPI or not. For example, when someone coming and saying the KPI 10% from an installed deposit and the minimum deposit $100, it's not logic. No one will meet this KPI. This KPI app owner using just to reject your traffic and got free traffic for a few months from you, from another network, from another agent. He can success to do it and install all this traffic and not pay anyone for 2-3 years, but he will not success forever. From another side, there is trusted developer. They have apps. They coming and telling you direct, okay, I will pay you, let's say $500 for every deposit. If you need to run it as CPI, choose any KPI you need to set up and using it. But in the end, the income, it will be only $500 per deposit. So at this time, I can mention something like 1% from installed, or even can be less. Okay, giving higher payouts. For example, I can run it one installed by $5, but KPI 1% deposit. I will meet the target for developer, and I will give a chance for publisher who every time asking only for CPI to test it, to try. Maybe they will success, maybe they will make 1, 2, 3, and maybe they will not. That's how we have to understand and analyzing KPI. It's real KPI or just a way to reject payment.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that's again what we say, that all the experienced market players, they more or less can guess it at the jiffy, like at a click, because when they are offered, they cannot even go deeper, because that's the matter of, I would say that like kind of a feeling, that they have got that something is not nice there. So yeah, the overall the piece of advice will be simply to kind of try to look deeper into the matter and don't blindly catch up with the so-called attractiveness of any proposal unless you look inside deeper.
Yeah, sure. I think everyone remembers the time when Apple announced the iOS 14 privacy updates and announced that the SCAT network will now be the must-have tool to work with iOS apps. So it caused panic and hardly predictable future for all the marketers players. So afterwards, they got more questions than answers received. Like, for example, how will the whole attribution chain works with the 24-hour delay in reporting, for example? How should they apply for SCAT network ID? How they should implement the SCAT network to their workflow? So maybe you can share your experience, because I know that you registered in SCAT network, you have an experience on working with that, you get some stats, you get some knowledge. So maybe you can tell us regarding pros and cons of using the SCAT network to understand will the SCAT network be the required tool for working with iOS apps. Maybe there are some possible bypass options, and how do you think, is it better to work with or without SCAT network? So please tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure. I remember, yes, we were in panic when iOS start talking about SCAT network. I remember at first they said they will apply it in September 2020, after it delayed to January, but no change. So much people have hope they will not apply it. But in the end, they apply it in May. Okay, but to not have panic from it, we need to understand where is the change. Before, we were using Click ID, which is unique value. We can send them tracking link, receiving post back, and everything is fine because it's unique value. But when Apple decides they will not share even Click ID to protect their user data and this kind of stuff, we start thinking how to make a change, how we can track our traffic after send click. So the easiest thing to send so much value in your tracking link, okay, which will make your tracking traffic unique. For example, in AppricotAds, we added offer ID, campaign ID, offer name, campaign name, publisher ID, subsource ID, geo, and language, which making our traffic when we sending, when some user from them make some lead, it will not be mixed with any another source traffic. So we will go to our post make special something when you're using offer ID in your platform with your campaign ID in your platform. Campaign ID is something like every network have their own way to rename it, but for sure you will never find the same offer ID with the same way to name offer. So you will send them and easy you will receive post back for it. We start using it in May and we use it for almost 2 or 3 months because at this time we're preparing our SKAdNetwork ID. The witness point to not have SKAdNetwork ID, you will receive post back every 24 hours. So if there is some action you have to take so fast, it will not help you. Okay, but it's okay. At beginning for the first 2 or 3 months, we were fine with it. But when we start using a SCAT network, we contact Apple. We ask for SCAT network. They charge us some small amount. It's a yearly amount, not one-time payment.
Yeah, it's around €100 per geo.
As average, yes.
Yeah, roughly, because they differs per geo itself.
Yeah.
So I'll shed a little bit more when Rami completes the input itself. So I'll share a little bit more. Sorry, Rami, to interrupt you.
It makes the process easy. You add your SCAT network in your tracking link for all traffic you're sending to iOS devices. When your tracking they have installed, they have event, you have anything connected with traffic, automatic you're receiving post back from SCAT network itself. Okay, system they're sending to you, so you can recognize everything about publisher, about subsource, about payment, about event, everything in real time. There is no any delay with it. And in Affise, we have option to use the post way. We have option to use without SCAT ID. Okay, even there is special parameter, it's sub 8. Okay, it will help you for do it. But again, you have so many options you can using in tracking link in Affise. You can passing this offer ID, campaign ID, offer name, campaign name, and of course publisher ID and subsource ID and language. It's by default you can set even by IP2. Okay, and another option Affise you can using, you add your SCAT ID there, and it will match automatic with SCAT network, and you will get your post back so easy. So there is no reason to be panic. But for some partner till now, they believe SCAT network is not real. It's some partner coming and telling us, no, SCAT network is not connected with publisher. It's connected with this developer. No, it's not real. We see the difference. At the beginning, I was thinking everything is fine till I found all post back what I receiving. It was still iOS 14. Okay, I never received any single post back from iOS 14.5. But when I connected, I found something like almost 10% from my traffic was not getting post back because it's new version OS, which user not sharing. And according to Apple statistics, they're saying till now 30% from Apple users, they already activate protecting data, which meaning when we're tracking the 30% from eyes, we will not get post back if we didn't use SKAdNetwork with ID or without ID.
Well, actually, yeah, because we should bear in mind also one thing is what Rami says, it's absolute complete experience of what's going on and the type of traffic from iOS that he has started to receive through SCAT. The as was mentioned, it's not something a matter of panic, which is probably feasible from the first side. But when the process itself is very simple. Everyone who wishes, he can simply apply to Apple directly and get this SCAT Network ID. What takes time is the speed of Apple's reply. I'm not pretty sure they are just artificially prolonging this whole process. Highly likely, there are many who are applying, and this is why they were not pretty ready, to assist and support on time. So the overall, it can be found on the Apple website, the steps that you need to take. They are just a couple of clicks. In other words, you need to get enrolled into Apple Developer Program, which costs, as Rami mentioned, like annually, depending on the geography, like from $100 to €100. And after which you fill in the form, your request form, and Apple gets back to you with the ID because they kind of check you. And after that, you are required to provide them with your public key, which you generate and send them through email or through your portal. And that's it. After they consider it as the process complete. So the whole process itself takes time, but not because it's hard, just because the speed of the reply and the speed of arranging on Apple's side. However, indeed, you can, of course, if you do not want to jump into that, or you think that you are fine, or there are, of course, people who do not simply intend to apply for SCAT ID. At least at this moment, it's not mandatory. Because, for example, even certain attribution platforms, and if I'm not mistaken, even all, they do offer you kind of a bypass option. Like, for example, one of them is offering if you are registered with Apple, so you have the actual scan data, which is collected, translated, and aggregated by them, but it is attributed by Apple. However, on the other side, if you don't have it, so you can go on with the scan simulation. And if I'm not mistaken, I've personally not experienced it, but I know that even Affise is offering a similar solution to networks and agencies itself, right? So, which is, again, talking about, that means, I think so, that, there is no closed door over there. It's simply just another path that you need to take if you wish to. And we should take, as Rami mentioned, that there are really multiple benefits that you can have from having this SCAT network ID, in speed and accuracy. Yeah, maybe there is a delay of up to 24 hours of receiving the post back, right? But, well, overall, it is designed to fight fraud and user privacy. Not to fight user privacy, but of course, it designs for user privacy of all the users itself. So it means that after all, when it comes to us, we would like also to be respected. Our privacy should be also respected, and this is what each of us is striving or fighting for, right, in this kind of a turbulent world. But bearing in mind, when it does not bother you, it does not concern you, so you shouldn't be allowing that case that the user's privacy should not be a matter of your concern or your interest. No, we should all stick to such aspects. I think so. And this is why, and one of the arguments in favor of doing so, it was, of course, user privacy. And for us, which is higher than anything else over here. And the second option, it is to be able to fight fraud more efficiently. Yeah, I've heard many articles talking about, inefficiency of such a tool, but so far the process is not complete. You remember back in 2018 when Apple has just announced the SCAT network framework, the concept itself, but so far in 2021, almost the end of 2021, we can see that the process is not complete yet. So some more changes, I think so, would be coming, but it will not be, I do believe, going against the interest of such players as we are. Let's see. Let's wait simply.
Yeah, it will be interesting to know what they're going to implement or improve in the upcoming year or in the next updates. So the next topic, if we are talking about fraud, you just told that SCAT Network helped you to stop receiving fraudulent traffic. It helps you to fight the fraud. So we have another thing on the same topic. Like I think and maybe you faced. I think everyone, somewhere faced the problem with click flooding or so-called click spamming. So can't argue that it's like so-called a plague or a real digital pandemic that affected almost every market player, each market player. So how do you think how does click flooding impacts the relationship with the advertiser? How you can detect the fraudulent sources? How you can fight with them? What can we do to avoid receiving click flooding sources and adding them to your network? So what can we do to prevent it?
Yeah, for click flooding, it started almost at October 2020. At this time, in general, when you see 1 million click or 2 million click in your platform every day, you're feeling there is something not normal. But suddenly you start seeing 100 million, 200 million, 500 million click per day, which for sure it's not normal. Before, when we were talking about traffic, we were saying the normal conversion is 0.5. Suddenly we found this amount becomes 0.0001 or something like this, which can't be real traffic. When it's a start, we start facing multi-problems with developer, which they have platform can't host all this amount of clicks, and with MMPs, because they have some terms about CR. You should have CR, because in the end, MMPs, they earning from installs, from leads. Okay, if you're sending a huge amount of clicks and then there is no event or installs, they're not earning anything. So we start this at this time about we have to understand there is some problem here. We try to many way to work with it, but everything was didn't success. Like we tried to give cap for publisher, but for sub-publisher, we have this option in our platform in Affise to share cap only with sub-source, but sub-sources, they was found another way, something like they sending a unique value for sub-source. So every click have a unique sub-source. You can't control it. We tried with publisher. Till in the end, we found that only the correct solution to do it. You should have a tool help you to do it. Okay, we start care more for targeting. For example, we stop targeting low OS or old OS. Okay, we have minimum. We start reject duplicate IP, because mostly they sending this float from few IPs, not so much. And we have option for floating in Affise about it's anti-fraud tool, but it's working to block data center traffic. Okay, it's helping to do it. And from another side, we start check our publishers. Okay, we have some publisher, mostly they integrating by API and sending a huge amount of traffic. We start giving them small click caps, okay, and giving more click caps for the publisher who have their own app. Okay, so by this way, we're making balance to keep our CR in the end acceptable. Okay, not 0.5, but let's say 0.05. Okay, it's helping us to passing it. Cloud flooding is something we have to understand. It's not facing one network or one agent. It's a problem for everyone in marketing. Okay, especially some MMPs, they try to take some action on the blocking account. In some cases, they block for 1 day or the rest of the day. In some cases, they block forever. You can running more apps, or you losing your account. Okay, so try to not using running much popular application, because the usual popular application have low CR. If you have some exclusive app or interest app, okay, we're working on it. We start avoid some country which they have so much population, but of course there's some country we can't do it. For example, US, we can't stop running campaign for US. It's a big population, but we have to try. We shouldn't be worried from it, but we have to explain it to our publisher and advertiser, because some publishers nowadays, they coming and complaining your campaigns and saying your campaign's not converting. I send you 200 million click and then got something like 10 or 20 lead only. Guys, when you're talking about 200 or 300 million clicks, you think you send real traffic?
Mm-hmm.
It's not real. Okay, don't measure my campaigns, they're working or no, by flooding. Okay, we can check some subsources and I'm replying them back. These subsources sending flood, please block them. And we start to create some somehow to ask our publisher to send their subsource, one subsource in parameter and the rest of subsource another parameter. So we can judge the publisher from them, and we can understand he's sending real traffic, he's sending flood, he's sending fraud, and in that case, we can take action to block them.
Also, we have some automation tool, like you already mentioned. You've tried to use click automation tool and CR automation tool. So, have you already had a result that you can share?
Yeah, last 3 months there was so much update for these tools that become useful, and it's working in 2 level, in click level. So in that case, if someone sending amount of clicks what I added in my rules with 0 installed, they will be blocked. Okay, it's click automation, and we have conversion automation. It's according to CR. If someone didn't meet the CR, the good point about it, it's working in different level. I can choose work for this publisher, or all publisher, for this for per subsource, or for all subsources. It can work starting from 1 hour till 24 hours to keep monitoring the traffic. And if someone didn't meet your rule, what you're adding there, he will be blocked automatically. And he will be blocked in one offer, maybe in another offer or another for another advertiser, he will work good. So it's saved so much time from us, what we were spending checking just reports to take action for every publisher. And of course, when we're spending this much time, in the end, our action not 100% correct. For example, we were blocking some subsources because we see low CR from them, but in another case, they can perform better in another app.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Overall, this is kind of a standard that because there is no standard, I would say, that would help you to distinguish this stuff. What Rami says is absolutely correct in terms of real practice. But sometimes we should bear in mind that there are every absolutely platform judges as per its own mechanism, but for which I think that maybe it's a utopical wish of mine, but should be something more general and standard, which is exercised by everyone. So in that case, you will be able to exactly fight this click flooding and not, causing some more obstacles like to networks itself. So, and this is, it's a digital pandemic, as we call, but it's solvable. But there more consent is needed among technological partners in between each other. So in that case, I do believe into having a more or less better solution to the issue.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. So maybe let's talk about your thoughts about your predictions on the upcoming year. So maybe you can prepare some forecast for 2022. So what should we expect? What should on which verticals maybe some agencies should try to focus on, and what should we expect from the next year? Should it be better or not?
Well, I think this tendency will start to move forward. Maybe bearing in mind what we discussed later, the latest topic of ours related to click flooding, and where there is no kind of a unique solution to the matter. So this is why it causes some mobile app promotion to kind of try to look for something as an alternative subdomain. Probably and highly likely these are the CPL stuff or maybe the RTB and so on and so forth. I'm not talking about those who have been in that business for ages, but we're talking about what kind of other alternative options might be in the mobile app promotion because of all these challenges that we have somehow, unless a solution is found. Highly likely the post-COVID, since this era is not yet ended, and we are having more and more waves of the COVID. So highly likely people will continue to use those top converting offers, as we say, so which is related to entertainment, which is related to shopping, delivery. Maybe it's also related to people. Indeed, joke is a joke, but might probably related to people becoming more lazy after this COVID period. So I think that maybe some more so-called apps will reimburse or reemerge, which is related to healthcare. I'm not talking about the classical or traditional ones, with to consult a doctor or to read out something, but more of like maybe COVID passport related PCR tests and something that they would probably make it from paperwork onto a more digitalized version of it. And I think that so far, maybe from the start of next year, such outdoor activity apps will start to come back slowly, but one by one, because that's related with maybe in most of the countries where these restrictions and the bans are lifted. So people coming slowly to the normal way of living. So that's, I think, which is going to be in the trend so far. And moving from the not from the mobile app promotion business, because I have heard personally while talking to partners of ours, and we do respect really, so they are also trying to find another trend as a branch, moving to the CPL campaign types, which is not related or does not depend on attribution platforms, which are, for example, sometimes blocking due to the click flooding, and some others do, globally blocking you for a time being, until the 24-hour cycle comes up and expires. So anyway, some who managed to find a solution like we did, talking about the CRs and blocking the click flood sources, but the majority, I think so, they haven't done it yet. So because it's a colossal work that should be done and performed, because there is no 100% automation to that. So I think that if these attribution platforms would not offer something more, I would say, down to earth solution, maybe people will continue to fake the CPIs, as we call, just because, if those who do not have sources or those who do not have mobile applications, so they will try to somehow maybe fool the systems, which is not welcomed by us at all. And that should be something to kind of keep their CRs, I think so, which again requires more efforts from technological partners to offer some solution in return. Maybe even it's a paid basis or doesn't matter, but that will help generally everyone, I think, to fight that.
So, guys, thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you, thank you a lot for sharing your expertise. I think it was really interesting and useful, not only for me but for all the attendances. Now I think we can answer some questions that we received during the presentation. So the first one is regarding the anti-fraud protection tools implemented in MMPs. So you just talked about some algorithms and mechanisms that are blocking the whole account instead of blocking the source or sub-source that is performing bad. So maybe you faced with such mechanisms. So like when they implemented in MMPs. So maybe you know how they work. Maybe you can tell us how did they impact it on the performance and what's going on right now with them.
Okay. MMP, the main task for them, it's to connect publisher with app. Okay, to count clicks, to check event, to pass post bags, this kind of stuff. Some of them, they're trying to add some anti-fraud tools. Okay, it's not fair all time. we checked many anti-fraud tool in MMB, and we contact them because the result, what we see, it was something so strange. We already have our own anti-fraud tool. In time, when we see our anti-fraud CR something like 10-15%, they see 95%. And when we try to contact to understand what was the reason, they giving some reasons which for us, you can't say this traffic is fraud. Okay, we know fraud coming from new device, coming from VPN, duplicate IP, okay, old devices, okay, but they coming and giving some reasons we don't understand this reason, like click flooding, okay, click flooding per app or per account. Mostly they decide about click fraud according to your account. For example, if you have 100 apps running in their MMB and you are sending so much clicks and your CR is low, they coming and marking all your installs and all your traffic as fraud, as click flooding, okay? And when we're asking, but maybe I am sending for 100 apps, maybe only 40 apps, they have so much clicks, okay? But the rest is not. They say, no, it's if your account sending much, we will not spend time to change or check all your traffic, we'll mark all your traffic click fraud. It's one side. From another side, okay, maybe this app or campaign running in JU, which in general have low CR, and we have many JU have low CR. It's not reason. Officials, they replying and saying, we are not checking all traffic. We take, in general, okay, it's general attitude about your traffic, okay? So when we start facing this problem, we start to contact our developer because we have to keep our relation with them open, and we shared with them the result what we shared. And we tell them, when we see it's our traffic market bot or fraud, it's not real in this MMB tool, okay? Just please check in your end. We send your clicks, we send you installs, we send you even. There are some people from our traffic paid money in your app. Check and come to tell me it's real or not. And after time, many developers start to understand, yes, MMB fraud tools, it's not clear 100%, okay? We can't trust it. In the end, we trust the traffic what we're sending and the traffic what developer received in their end, and they compare the result. If they found everything good, this real event, they paying us, and we don't facing problem with it. Okay. At the beginning, when we contact developer and telling them we facing this problem, some of them is coming, no, we trust this MMB so much, it have good reputation in market, things like this. But after sometimes when they start hearing the same from many publishers, from many agents, from many network, and in the end they found the amount of traffic what they're receiving start to become less and less week or months, they started checking and asking, guys, what is the problem here? And we talk and explain everything and working with them fine. But for developers who still believe MMB fraud tools, they're changing with time, because with time they're losing networks, they're losing traffic, and they stop earning. And of course, any developers, they have their affiliate department, it have some cost they're spending, and when they not cover it, they start to try to find where is the problem to increase traffic.
And what do they do? Do they prefer to change the MMP? Like you said, some MMPs blocks the whole account according to the performance, but some of them are trying to detect the publisher or sub-publisher and block only this specific.
Mostly we're talking to our developer to change MMP. Okay, and there is, I can't say much, but I can say, let's say from 15 till 20% from developers started change MMPs, which start to make some problems March last 4 months. Okay, in our end, no, we make balance. For example, when we're running gaming and shopping, the CR from this app is higher than casino apps and financial apps. Okay, so we make balance. If I add something like, if I have 10 apps have low CR, I try to add 10 or 15 apps which have high CR. But this time I keep my account open, working good, and not facing problem with them. And in time, when I see my CR drop down, I try to control a little in apps what have low CR. In the end, to keep my account open and not getting blocked any day. Okay, and we success with this idea almost 1 month and a half.
And
we didn't have problems with it.
Thank you. And in case if you persuade the advertiser, the app developer, for example, that the performance will be better if they don't use any any implemented in-house anti-fraud tools, do they have an option to ask MMP to disable this tool maybe and to work without any anti-fraud decisions?
Yes, they have option to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They have option to do it. There is paid tool, okay, and there is free tool. They can ask and not to using paid tools. At this time, we will not get any block. But just developers, they have some condition. Okay, we will not pay for duplicate IP. We will not pay for VPN. Okay, the normal fraud, what we understand.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you have high CR or low CR, it's not the case. You can't judge me. For example, when you're promoting app, this app you have it something like 5 or 6 years. Do you think it will have high CR like new app? Do you think when you're promoting casino, it will performing like example when you're promoting shopping apps? Of course, not the same. So how you, because low CR in casino, you decide to block my shopping traffic and mark them as fraud just because my account have low CR. Okay, yeah. And we contact them and we got message from them. They cleared this point about this action, even about blocking, about marking as fraud. It can be done for real, even, but it's according to your CR, your account CR, or according in your total CR in this app. So if you have one publisher sending good traffic, another one low CR traffic, all will be blocked. Okay, we're using it with our developer. We share it with them, tell them it is a reply. Okay, and of course everyone looking to in the end to earn. Okay, and MMB they earning from leads, from installs, from event. They pushing us to increase our CR, to increase their event. But our partnership, it's like triangle. We are 3 point: network and developer and MMB. It shouldn't be single decision from MMB. I will ask something. When MMB coming and tell I blocked your traffic for the rest of the day because you reach your CR is low. Okay, MMB link is MMB platform is platform connect me with developers. They can't take single action like this. Okay, for example, in Affise, if I have publisher send one day 100 million click, of course Affise will not go to this publisher and tell him I blocked your traffic in my end. You don't have right to do it. You are platform. The decision, it should be shared between publisher and developer at beginning and the platform.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we can't argue that that's a good step forward that will help us, agencies, advertisers, and everyone in the industry to fight against fraud activity. But anyway, I'm sure that you agree and I agree that all these algorithms should be more clear for understanding of how it works, on which params they decide to mark the traffic as fraudulent, and they for sure should do some additional improvements in it. So, and maybe I hope in the upcoming years, 1 or 2 years, we'll have more efficient tool that will help both sides to manage.
Actually, it should involve actually what Rami says and what you have stated. Actually, it should involve all the participants here. We do not. I don't believe that there are the majority, of course, of industry players. They are not enjoying having the clicks, having the kind of a traffic. What the community is looking for is not like always changing the MMPs or having time focused on such stuff, but what the industry players, the majority, would prefer to have is to have a solution. Again, what I said, is it a paid or not paid, but not the matter of changing the MMPs, because all right, you can change the MMP today and tomorrow you will have another MMP facing the same issues, maybe repeating the same, right? So in that case, we need somehow to come to a more global consent on how we should.
They're the same goal here,
Yeah, of course, because everybody earns. Because if, for example, one publisher stops promoting whatever campaign, and this kind of a chain reaction goes through all the network, it's not a fast process, but it's a gradual one unless any changes happen. So then how the mobile app developer is intended and expected to promote his application? I mean, how any party is going to earn? Like, after all, we'll have like 10% of something out of all the industry. I'm very much skeptic about it. So I'm more towards not eliminating some players in here, because after all, everybody is here to earn, first of all, but to have a global solution, a more sophisticated platform, a tool to find such fraudsters. And everybody will join this platform, believe me. I mean, the virtual platform, everybody will join and support. Apricots is not going to be an exception, but there would be plenty of players who would do that. That's simply our point of view.
Fully agree with you. And so we have time for one more question, if you don't mind. So the question is interesting. Maybe you have some insights or you heard something. We've just talked about SCAT Network that was presented by Apple. Maybe you know about if Google plans to do something similar. Maybe they're preparing something that will also change the market soon and rapidly. So what do you think? Does Google prepare something similar like SCAT Network for attribution?
Okay. My reply here, it will be just my opinion. We're thinking about something maybe will happen or no. I believe something. I believe here Apple start using the SCAT network. They're trying to make advertising industry less to increase how much they earning, because Apple mostly they earning from selling device and from app store throwing users when they make payment. Every user make payment in any app, Apple getting almost 30% from this amount. But from advertising, Apple earning nothing. In another side, in Google, okay, they earning from advertising. Most of their revenue coming from advertising. So I don't think they will take any steps like what Apple did. Okay, because Apple need to change apps from free apps to paid apps. How to do it? By make free apps stop earning from advertising, so they will not have another chance to earn if they keep their app is free. But Google is opposite. They earning mostly from advertising, so they need to keep it working by the same way. Google have so many apps, all these apps working to collect data about targeting user, okay, which another application can using to target these users. For example, location, attitude, age, gender. Okay, so I don't think Google will do some change like Apple. They will not take these steps.
And what do you think, Eiko? Thank you, Remy.
Well, I think this is the only maybe point of my disagreement with my colleague and my friend,
Yes.
because we have to have different opinion on that. So we think that the Apple, I think so. The Apple is also kind of engaged and interested in having more apps promoting themselves, because after all, so far and at this moment at least, they are getting paid directly and they have their own share after any successful app is being promoted. But overall, I would be here a little bit more neutral, because we never know what these giants are expected. It's something that recently we have seen so many unpredicted activity by all these players, and we never know what comes to their mind. So far we know, and we have spoken internally a lot when there was an open kind of a battle, I don't want to call it a war, but between Apple and Facebook or any other players. Now, what they're sharing there in between, these giants, they know by themselves. What comes to public is just this very small piece of information. However, we are not that big, to take part in this clash, but we would rather sit down, and wait what the final resolution of these guys are. However, after all, I don't think that they are, kind of naive people there, to harm and to shoot their own leg, right? So I think something which will they come to an agreement will be also positively affecting the whole market. And well, the monopoly is way long, not welcomed by any country, so I don't think that something like that will happen. But anyway, let's keep positive. I think the answer to your question will be, will Google do it or not? I think it can, if they are probably forced to do so. As for the recent activity and this is court and listenings of what was done with Facebook, with Google CEO, can be something which comes to their mind. So anyway, I'm more pragmatically oriented, more, I would say, positively kind of, looking into this matter. So, but again, we know a little bit, just very little bit of out of all these big games. So I hope that the mobile app promotion itself, which is very nice industry, very, very yummy one, will further increase, and those forecasts for 700 something billion of revenue so should come to true and reality in upcoming years. So we shall all keep positive, consolidated, and wait some for yummy good probably decisions and offers and solutions from, be it an MMP, attribution platforms, or tracking and technological partners of ours. Well, let's hope. Let's hope.
And I need to add something. Sorry, here, Anton. Let me add
No,
something. Last 7 years, this industry have many big change. Okay, over all of them was huge challenge for us. For example, we start as CBI incent at the beginning. After it, people start moving to non-incent, but still CBI. After it, now they're doing CBE and CBA traffic because most of developers now looking for real money to come back to them, to real users. Okay. Even if we SCAT this network, SCAT network at the beginning we worry from it, but after seeing, we found solution for it. Maybe it take time, maybe it will take hard, maybe some stress, but we found solution for it. If Google did the same, of course we will stop, continue. Okay, we don't have another option. We like what we are doing, and we will find solution for it. It will not be the end. Advertising industry, it's so long. Okay. In radio, in TV, in street, in mobile apps, it never stops. It's any big company. Okay, I can say 10 or 20% from their budget going to advertising because it's the most important thing. So every time there will be a way to keep everything moving. Maybe not like how we used to do before, but okay, we will continue.
Yeah,
for sure. Thank you.
Equipped by Affise with such support, I think we will survive.
Thank you for your warm words. So anyway, none of us can know exactly what will happen next year, but it was interesting for our attendees just to hear your personal opinions, your predictions. And so let's see next year, will they happen or not, really. So thank you guys and friends again for answering those questions and for your great presentations. Thank you for sharing your excellent expertise. I think everyone found something new and useful for them. So thanks for showing up how to deal with SCAT network and everything you've just told us. So it was a real pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
For us, Anton, thanks so much for you and for this event. It was really so interesting and we enjoyed so much.
You're always welcome.
We were delighted to share. Thank you so much, Anton. Thanks.
So thanks again, and this concludes the webinar. So thanks all attendees for attending this webinar, and we hope you have learned and enjoyed this presentation. So have a nice day, everyone. So
Cheers.
bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you.